Hello. Welcome to Experience Matters. How's it going, guys? We have Adi and Prachi. How's your day looking? How's it going, guys?
Nice. It's a Friday. Fridays are always awesome for me.
That's for
For
sure.
me, nice sunny day, cold winters
That is for
also.
sure.
So I think it's a good day to
Yeah.
actually kickstart this for sure. How are you guys doing?
Yep, I've got a
Yeah, like you
great
said.
backdrop. Beautiful weather. Yeah.
Yours, you still have the
Mine,
view, Shivani?
no, unfortunately not. I'm back in Bangalore now.
Oh, you're back.
I have a tree that I can look out onto, but yeah, not too bad. Nothing to complain about.
Awesome. Cool.
Shall we kick this
Yes,
off?
let's start it. At least
All
I
right.
think you're going to share your screen and then we take it from there.
Yeah, so just a little bit of an intro, to what we're going to be covering in today's program. So in the session today, what really goes into an experience management solution, and how do you get started, right? So I've worked with clients across industries where they collect feedback, across this one and two key touch points and call it their experience program. It for sure is a great start, right? But there is so many more things that can be done to not only expand the program, to get better insights and get better action areas at the end of the day, and at the end get better returns on all of the investment that goes into building a program like this, right? So in order to achieve all of this, the first step is always for everyone in the organization, the different departments, to not really work in silos, but start working together towards that one end goal, right? Adi, do you want to just expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, it's your regular evolution for customer experience, and in the entire experience, I would say world, right? Like for example, we all started with surveys, with basic,
Yeah.
absolute basic customer satisfaction surveys is what it used to be called. Then I think that went on for a couple of years. Then came consumer insights, customer insights, right? That was the new thing when they were doing this more frequently. Companies and brands wanted to do this more frequently to understand and make systematic changes based on what they were finding. Then obviously came the world of customer experience, wherein people started realizing that what, we need to do this over longer periods of time. We need to do this more systematically, transactionally, right? To understand performance over time, to go back in time, see how you're performing, to benchmark your own performance, right? That's when
Yeah.
the entire customer experience era was born. And I think, at least from my perspective, where I see this going, we don't obviously, these are all debatable, but at least from from where I see this evolving is where the entire spectrum, that is your customer experience, now just becomes a module to what you really want to achieve as a company or as a brand, right? That's where the whole reputation management comes in. And when we say when we say experience management, we don't mean just understanding your customer experience at certain touch points. You need to understand, you need to first draw out your entire spectrum, what is important to you as a company. I can give you real life examples. For examples, obviously, there are everybody wants to do and is doing. A lot of our customers are doing customer experience and understanding their touch points and understanding how they're performing at certain areas, right? Let's take an example wherein, let's say you're an airline, right? We work with multiple airlines in the Middle East, in India, in Asia, and a lot of them are collecting information at various touch points. So, for example, ticketing, website and experience. How was your experience at the lounge? Every time you interface with their call center, how was your experience, right? And this comes from a real life example, but there have been times wherein, everything is going well, but when somebody calls the call center or interfaces with your customer support team, right, the experience is dropping, right? Now clearly, okay, there is a drop in the NPS, but how do you understand, or how do you do a deep rooted analysis into what is actually happening there?
Yeah.
You can take a guess that, it could be your training program, it could be various things, right? Okay, volume has increased. Is the team able to handle these many customers? requests and all. You can actually do some analysis there based on your volume and your numbers. But the way I feel, or what I think would really have impact for you to actually understand the problem and solve it, is actually to first look at what is your employee experience score for that particular department, right? Are your employees mentally healthy? Are they scoring well when you're trying to understand their yearly experience? So you need to understand your employees' experience or that particular department's experience first. Then at the same time, the training that you are conducting, what is the score for the training? How are the employees absorbing the training information? What is the feedback that your employees are giving on your training program, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously you need to understand the uh, your what is your competitors doing in this particular area, and how can you improve this. Until you don't understand all these other scores and all these other data points, you won't be able to make an informed decision. You can obviously take some hits at it, like I said, by understanding volume, by understanding how many agents are handling how many chats, etc. But to make a more informed decision, you really need to understand the other side of the spectrum, which is the employee experience part of it, right? So, and this continues into various departments. So, like I said, our goal for this particular show, or at least for the coming sessions, is to take each one of these elements, like employee experience, be it benchmarking, be it understanding your actual customer experience. How do you, what are the touch points that you want to understand, but putting the whole thing together, I think that is absolutely important. And like I said, before you even start something like this in any situation, the first thing that you need to understand is, okay, what is my goal? So I think tracking your goal, putting your goal into perspective. If anybody has ever visited financial managers or advisors, that's what they do. That's the first thing that you do. That's, okay, you put your goal. What do you have currently? What is your goal, right? And the difference is the gap. And now what do you do to reduce the gap? So I think that's going to be our agenda and objective throughout all the sessions, is to first let you know what the goal is, second to see where you guys are at, and what is the difference, right? As simple as that. So hopefully we can kind of help you cover the gap and make systematic changes, and give you as much information as we have, and definitely share them across. Over to you, Shivani.
Yeah. Brilliant. And I think Adi, kind of touched upon everything that you see on your screen right now. And it depends on where you are and what your goal is, and the difference in, there could be two out of the four things that you see on the screen now that you're implementing. You could look at the other two, right? But just to give you an overview of what your experience management solution could look like. So four key verticals, starting with feedback shared online by your customers through social media, through reviews, insights from your CX program itself, right, where feedback is collected across all of the key touch points, across the customer's journey with the brand. Tying those scores in with your industry benchmarks, to see where you stand when compared to competition, and finally combining these improvement areas from your customer's perspective and tying that in with your employees' perspective as well, right? So we will of course be deep diving into each of these solutions, like Adi said, in detail on across different shows. So stay tuned for that. But just to give you an overview of what really goes into each one of them, right? Starting with your reputation management. So this is really to capture what your organizational sentiment is. What are your customers telling you? What are they talking about? This could be the good, it could be suggestions, it could be negative comments as well. All of it you need to capture and have that holistic view of really what are your customers, what information on your brand are they sharing with everyone else, right? So you need to look at what's going well and what's not going well as well. So, and along with that, one thing that you can do is incorporate notifications. So if you have a negative alert, build in that entire loop closure program, right? Appoint a team within your company that, gets notified every time there's a negative review, a low comment or negative comment. and get them to action upon that and reach out to your customers and try and resolve that as quickly as possible. So all of that kind of sits under your reputation management. Then of course you have your standard customer experience program where and I can't stress this enough, always start with your customer journey mapping exercise. A lot of times there are clients who just think they know what the key touch points are, but
Right.
when you go through that entire journey mapping, you identify these key touch points that are coming out that you didn't really think were as important as they actually are, and it really changes the customer's perception of the brand in their mind. So start with that, collect your feedback across those different touch points. Definitely don't always look at the same channel to share those surveys out with. Look at an omni-channel approach, and like a typical CX program would include your loop closure. Ensure that you have a loop closure built in there as well, so that you're able to even if you have a dissatisfied customer, if you're able to reach out and resolve their problem as soon as possible, you're going to convert them, and they could very quickly become promoters of your brand. So that is
I think
something that's
loop. I
extremely
think I'm gonna
important.
stop the loop closure for reputation management and customer experience is, I think, extremely important, right?
Yeah,
And I think even in both these areas, if you are, I think there was a research that I forgot the numbers. I think it's pretty staggering, but if you're able to reach out to your detractors, or unsatisfied customers, let's use simple terms,
yeah,
within a certain time frame, I think you have almost a 80 to 90% chance of converting them, right?
yeah,
Because, like I said, everybody the first problem that a frustrated customer or anybody who's not having the experience that they imagine, right? Experience is
yeah,
something that you imagine.
yeah,
That, oh, this is how I want this to be, right? And at
yeah,
that point, when it goes away from what you imagine, is when you start being dissatisfied, right? And what
yeah,
is the first
yeah,
thing that, according to me, if I was unsatisfied, I think firstly somebody should hear me out, right?
yeah,
And then take action. The number
yeah,
one thing is, am I being heard? The minute I know I'm being heard, I think 50% of my stress is already relieved. I'm like, okay, at least they heard me, and now
yeah,
I count on systems to take, and companies and brands to actually make these changes or take these actions, right? But like I said,
yeah.
closing the loop with your customer you think might not have an impact, but it has a very significant impact on them literally either going away from your brand or engaging even further with your brand. So do keep that in
Correct.
mind.
Yeah, and along those lines, something that I read somewhere as well. It's like you having this sitting down with your significant other, with your partner, telling them, okay, what happened, what's wrong, and then they take the time out, 5-10 minutes of them just bearing their soul, giving you feedback, and what happened, what is going wrong, and then you say okay and get up and go. Right? That's not really going to go down too well. You really need to take that time to try and see how you can help them as much as possible, and that's the same for your customers as well, right? So if they are going to put in the effort to tell you what is wrong, the least you can do is put in that effort to try and see if you can resolve it for them. Of course, 100% solving your customers' problems, no company in the world is going to be able to do that. But you start making that effort, the more and more you're going to be able to build on it. It also gives you, apart from what is coming in from your questionnaire and your insight, it also gives you additional things that you can work on to improve your processes, to improve your services, right? When it is something you need to go initially above and beyond to offer, when you start incorporating it into your regular process, it just becomes part of the entire servicing as well. So that's definitely key. For your customer experience, we are going to, the next session is actually going to be about, the first step on how to build your customer journey mapping exercise. We're going to have the director of our MENA division, Sindhu, who's joining us for that. She's, pro at it. She'll tell you what the advantages are. How do you start? What all do you have to look at? So, definitely join us for the session on that. That's next Friday. Now, quickly moving on to the third bit, which is your industry benchmarking, right? So it's not enough to just see, okay, what your company is doing and how do you improve on that. You also need to benchmark your performance with the industry as well. So run studies to understand the industry trends, to understand competition analysis, to see what really is working for them, what is not working for them, and then what else can you incorporate in your product and services for your company basis what is really happening and the trends in the industry. So that's an additional piece that you can have, which supports the entire program. And lastly, it's about aligning your customers' incentives with your employees' incentives. I know it's been said multiple times, but a cliche is a cliche for a reason because it's true. But your happy employees means happy customers. It's just the way it is. You're definitely what is important is to provide your employees with one for and a platform where they can share their feedback with you, but it's also a platform where they can share their recommendations with you, right? Because they are facing the customers day in day out. They are the front line for your customers. They know what the customers are working on, what the problem is, and more often than not, they actually have the solutions as well. So, as part of your employee experience, one is, of course, to collect their satisfaction, see what you can do to improve their overall experience, but also give them that opportunity to share, their insights on what needs to be done to improve the all of your different departments. They all, kind of, you have your social media team, you have your CX team, you have your market research team, and you have your HR division, right? So it's all about these different departments and teams working together towards a common end goal, which is what you decide at the start of the program. So
No, I think yeah, a lot of brands do this independently, ad hoc. There's a lot of things, and typically when we work with a lot of companies and brands, um, the one thing that I've noticed, and from that's where the theme also kind of originated in our head, is like, you know what, some of these people don't even know who is responsible
yeah,
for the other task or division in their company. I've
yeah,
worked with so many people in the research department who actually did not know who's in
yeah,
charge, or what does the employee data even look like? Is it being done or no, right? But like I said,
correct.
it's really important for all of these people to work together. Even if they like it, they don't like it. It is the reality, because if you want to draw out your entire company's portfolio and you want to see if the company at an overall level is improving, there's absolutely no point for one. If one department is outperforming the other three departments, guess what? The company is not going to win. Like that is,
Yeah,
it's going to take longer, and I won't say it's
true.
not going to win. You'll obviously, if you continue to keep doing progress, you'll definitely win. But if you want significant change and you want to kind of fast track your growth, I think that is absolutely important. Where at least at a minimum, you need to know what the data looks like, right?
Yeah,
Maybe you're not involved in it, it's not your job description, I get it. But like I said, if you're
yeah,
not talking to each other, it's very difficult to make systematic changes, and it'll take a lot of time for you to figure out the problem many a times,
yeah,
right? And to avoid that, I think when obviously to make any informed decision, you go buy a car if you know, if you watched 8 reviews versus some one of your friends said, oh, that's a good color. I think obviously there is going to be a
yeah,
difference in decision. When you have more data,
yeah.
you can make more informed decisions. So that's at least the theme of the conversation here, is join us, be part of our journey, where we are going to take, again, I'm going to keep repeating it, is like we're going to take each of these modules, bring in experts who have worked within these modules, understand from them. For example, understand from Sania, who will be joining us soon. Sindhu will be joining us. Sindhu has obviously a champion in customer experience. Sania being a champion in employee experience and HR psychology, taking their inputs and actually putting it together, right? I think that's where everybody's going to see the value, and that's where it's going to hit that, you know what? Yes, it actually does matter if you take all these data sets and absorb it at one point, at a given point, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we are going to try to create examples within question pro. I think that's something that I think, and I didn't even tell you, Shivani, is what we can also start doing is a lot of this is being done within question pro. We look at the data, obviously from all channels, and we can use those examples to
Yeah.
showcase. And even if we want to build something additional, we can actually do a analysis within for our own systems and see where we can improve, what better can be done. Use those as case studies. We are obviously going to
Yeah.
try to involve customers, bring them onto the show, and use and kind of get their experience also. But just so
Yep.
that we have some more hands-on experience, we can start building systems so that people see how it is actually done. Um,
Yep.
Trying to keep it as realistic or as much as hands-on experience as much as possible, rather than just talking about topics. I think actually making changes and systematically building these programs is going to be really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's also practicing what we preach. So we said all the departments need to work together. We're bringing in
Absolutely.
people from all of our departments
From all
to,
our departments.
talk about what is, what is doing, what is working for them, and sharing their knowledge as well. So, all right.
Awesome.
Do we wrap this up? Anything? Any
Hold
final
on, we
points,
need to
Abhi?
we need to bring our
We we
commercial
have
head.
our
She's
commercial
not.
lead. Yes. Hi.
She ran away from the screen
The,
for a minute, guys. But no,
the very
so that
quiet
everybody knows
moderator.
what. No, just obviously we introduced Prachi last time around. She heads our
Yeah.
marketing and commercial business. Internally, she's been helping us put all this together. She's monitoring the chat. She's posting everywhere. It's like a multitasking ninja right now. So obviously,
Yeah.
Prachi, why don't you let everybody know what they can expect from a marketing perspective, emails, anything that you want to add on?
Yep, absolutely. And just first of all, Ali, like you mentioned, so we're on the chat, we're looking at comments. So through the show or even after, feel free to put in any questions, any comments that you have, and we'll keep the conversation going over there as well. And we're back every Friday. We're going to be, your if you're watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn, make sure to just loop in colleagues, send, share the link of the event with your friends, whoever you think can really benefit out of, taking some insights from what we're talking about. Whether they're familiar with Question Pro or not, these are going to be great sessions. And next week, like Shivani mentioned, we're back with customer journeys. There's definitely going to be a lot of takeaways, from this session. So let's make sure you hop on, and join us there. And you should be getting emails from us, which you already have. You can find our links to join the event over there. Reply to the email with any questions, any comments. We love feedback, as should be clear, and as Shibani and Adi have mentioned. So, yes, give us feedback on how you're liking these sessions, how helpful they are, what more you want us to do on any channel. So, truly omni-channel. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
That's all
Great.
from me, and we'll be back
Brilliant.
next
See y'all
Friday.
next Friday.
Awesome. Take care,
Bye.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.